What the flying fuck, man?
I'm so
Why
sorry.
would you do that?
You're like red.
Yeah, because you fucking slapped me in the face.
When you watch too many movies in theaters over a short time span, sometimes you see the same trailer so many times it loses all meaning.
What the flying fuck, man?
I'm so
Why
sorry.
would you do that?
You're like red.
Yeah, because you fucking slapped me in the face.
In nuclear Venezuela, you will not hear about the news because we'll already be dead.
By the 20th time I'd heard that quip, I was prepared to write A Real Pain off entirely, but I'm glad I ultimately gave it a shot. Not only was it smarter than this widely shown teaser revealed, but it spoke to an experience of mine I rarely see represented. That is, being a third-generation American, someone with at least one grandparent born outside the United States, while both parents were birthright citizens. My grandparents immigrated from Colombia to the United States, raised most of their children here, and then returned to Colombia to retire. I do not speak Spanish, and Colombian culture isn't any part of my daily life, but it is a huge part of the story of how I came to exist, a foundation of my father's upbringing, and manifests in a large communication barrier with some extended and some very immediate family. This anxiety of feeling undeserving of a heritage still omnipresent somewhere in the background of your life is where I saw myself most in A Real Pain. Though I must admit, the similarity is not complete. It follows two cousins who embark on a Jewish heritage tour across Poland to honor the memory of their deceased grandmother who left the country in the 40s after surviving the Holocaust. While I do not have experience with this particular ancestral trauma, I recognize the guilt conveyed in different social language by both leads at the relative comfort they enjoy, both at home and during this cushy vacation, comparing themselves to what their ancestors experienced. There's a line in here to the effect of immigrants work tirelessly, their kids go to good schools and get fancy jobs, and then the next generation smokes weed in their mother's basement. Now, my weed smoking days are behind me, and I'm separated by several time zones from my parents, but I'd be lying if I said that on my worst days, I don't find thinking about my grandfather riding his horse to work across the Colombian countryside particularly distressing. There's a lot contained in this movie's title. The capital R real pain experienced by survivors of atrocities, the big and small pains that each of us carry around that we can struggle to acknowledge the little r reality of by comparison, and the description of an annoying relative as a real pain. The legacy of this movie will be Kieran Culkin's performance, along with a likely Best Supporting Actor win. And while I don't think the rest of the movie deserves to live under that shadow, he is indeed phenomenal, playing the gregarious, weed-smoking, social convention skirting, and devastatingly depressed Benji. The phrase "wears his heart in his sleeve" was devised to preempt Benji's creation. This manifests in his willingness to probe, confront, belch, and be really raw with whatever, well, pain that he's feeling. Despite not diverging wildly from the mannerisms of Succession's Roman Roy, the complete effect is entirely different, with Benji's jokes evidencing a familiarity with the darker depths of the human psyche, rather than a shell built to avoid genuine engagement with his feelings. Eisenberg also doesn't wildly diverge from type, or maybe his real self here being lead actor, writer, and director, but as such the story fits his default shy and neurotic persona. David is the more straight-laced of the duo, whose travels have taken him away from both a lucrative job as an online advertisement salesman and a wife and young child. Eisenberg is cautious, sensitive to offending those around him, and mortified being so closely associated with someone having no such care. Most of us have been David at some point, brought someone we love into a setting where we worry they are not making a good impression, and it's a testament to the curiosity of the script that there's both empathy for David's experience and a harsh critique of it. Benji is rude, but he's also present and honest in a way most of us aren't. I tend more towards David in the way I carry myself, but with each passing year, I find more appreciation for the Benjis in my life who will tell me how they're feeling and call me on my bullshit. We all need friends who will tell us when there's something in our teeth, and it's good to understand that someone caring doesn't manifest as being the dictionary definition of pleasant all the time. A Real Pain isn't groundbreaking. If you've watched some movie like this, you can probably anticipate what will happen when and how conflict will arise between the two cousins. But what unpredictability its plot lacks is made up for in each new turn, deepening both an understanding of its characters and the different ways of going through life they represent. It's not going to be on my top 10 movies of the year, and I don't even know if it would make a top 20, but it is still great and perhaps more accessible than a lot of those movies. It achieves the very apparent comedic appeal of watching Columbus from Zombieland interact with Wallace Wells, and if that pitch is enough to get you seated for it, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how much more there is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Blue Sky, Letterboxd. Bye.